Hey guys, I'm Sam Roberts. Welcome to Notsam's Annoying Eater, episode number 1. Anybody that's been following me for any amount of time, whether it be from the radio, the internet, or in real life, knows that I am an annoying eater. I've been an annoying eater all my life, which would be the cue for some of you to start blaming my parents, but you can't blame my parents any more than you can blame your parents for the weirdness that you are. The fact is, even as a kid, I wouldn't eat. My mom said, well, this is what's for dinner. I said, okay, well, I don't like that. She said, you've never tried that. I said, I know. She said, well, try it. I said, I don't like it. She said, well, that's what I'm making, and if you don't eat that, there'll be no dinner. And I said, okay. There was no dinner. And that conversation has followed with me all my life. For some reason, there's something in this thick, big head of mine that will not allow me to get past certain food items. I know what I like and dislike simply based on looking at it. Steak, for instance, on the list of no-goes. This fact fascinated the radio show that hired a young Sam Roberts to be an intern, so much so that they wanted to test this theory. They brought my boyhood idol, Mick Foley, into the studio, had him feed me steak like a baby getting fed by an airplane to see if your idol is feeding you like a baby, does this absurd psychological hang-up maintain?
Here we go. Open that. That garbage can away. Yeah.
He's eating it.
Let me quote Vince.
Keep it in your mouth. Keep it in your mouth.
Oh, he's gonna puke.
Obviously, the psychological hang-ups maintained.
He just like swallowed it. He swallowed it whole.
Oh.
Yeah, it's done.
If I were doing this for attention, do you really think that I would want Mick Foley to see me like that? The diet that I live by today is almost identical to the one that I adopted over 30 years ago as a child. It consists of chicken, both fried and grilled, raw vegetables, mainly carrots, celery, some broccoli and lettuce, some fruits, apples, watermelon, oranges, banana, no pears, no peaches, potatoes, bread, pizza, and I guess cheese. Junk foods of all kind also on the table. And a very limited amount of nuts. But those have only really been added in since I became an adult. People go, oh, it's simple, Sam. You eat like a child. You must love your chicken fingers. Yeah. You must love your French fries. Yeah. Your mac and cheese. Whoa. Stop right there. This isn't just a simple case of eating things that kids eat. It's far more complex than that. Pasta of any kind is off the list. No spaghetti, no macaroni, no shells, no white sauce, no red sauce. Nothing. If I get a chicken parm and there's a plate of spaghetti next to it, they better be on 2 separate plates. Otherwise, the whole thing is a wash. I eat corn, but no peas. Rice, I have a legitimate phobia of. I love bacon. But ham, pork chop, lamb chops play along, all of it off the list. As a matter of fact, deli meats of all kinds off the list. Not one cold cut. I have had moments when a new food gets put into the rotation. And when it's time to add a new food into the rotation, I swear to you, it is a battle from beginning to end. For the most part, my battle is internal. I never like to share my vulnerabilities with people, and this is one of them. I told you earlier, within the last couple of years, broccoli was actually added to the list of foods that I ate. I sat there staring at broccoli plants for, weeks leading up to this inevitable moment when broccoli would become part of my diet. I knew going in, there was no way that this broccoli could be cooked. If broccoli was going to become part of my diet, it had to be raw, like the rest of the vegetables that I eat. And I had to fully wrap my head around the fact that we're doing this, baby. I've had moments where I'm eating something that I'm enjoying, and somebody tells me there's an ingredient in the food that I'm eating that is not on my list, and my entire body shuts down. So adding broccoli to the palate was an uphill battle. It was like I was fighting a trauma. I stared at that broccoli. I visualized the idea that I could eat the broccoli. I thought about the texture of the broccoli. I thought about what it might taste like. But in all honesty, this whole hang-up has very little to do with taste. I thought about the fact that I'm a grown-up now. I need to put healthy foods in my system or I will die. I said to my wife, Jess, what is broccoli kind of like so I can start to wrap my head around eating this thing? She said, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a cucumber. I said, that doesn't help us because I forgot to mention earlier, cucumbers and pickles also off the table. But I knew what had to happen. I knew I had to simply be comfortable with it, and I knew that I couldn't make a production out of it. So one day, I went to the fridge. We had broccoli in it because the rest of the people in this house eat like human beings. And I took one little broccoli tree, obviously washed it under the sink, even before quarantine. And then thinking as little as humanly possible about it, just took a bite. That first bite is the hardest part of the whole process. Because that first bite is when you have to get past every psychological urge and every physical urge that starts to build within you to start gagging and spitting your broccoli all over the floor like Mick Foley was sitting next to you with a spoonful of steak again. So I sat there chewing, because the other instinct is you just want to get past it. So instead of chewing anything, you just end up swallowing full bites whole, but that doesn't work. I don't need the ability to swallow broccoli whole. I need to be able to consume broccoli like a person. I need to be able to go to a restaurant and when there's broccoli on my plate, not be the one weird one who turns a plate back to the waiter with all the broccoli on it because people are assuming that you're just waiting for the mac and cheese because you're a child. I don't even eat mac and cheese. So I gritted my teeth. I bared through it. I chewed and chewed and chewed and chewed. I ignored that little part of my throat that was coming up going, let's push this back. Let's push this back. I said, nope, it's going down. And I finished my first bite of broccoli. The second bite, a lot of the same stuff was happening, but slightly less. The third bite, slightly less. And by the time I had finished that single tree of broccoli, I felt like I had accomplished something. It's been a while since I've been eating broccoli. And I have to tell you that there is still this little part of my brain that is telling my body that broccoli is not something that we eat. And I have to smack down that part of my brain every single time and say, we've done this before. We're doing this now. This is a thing people do, and we have to be a person brain, and that's how I get through it. Every time it gets a little easier. But the fact that even now, at my age, eating broccoli or any other food item that's on that list is this degree of a struggle for me internally, I can't explain. I don't want it to be the case, but it is the case. It's one of the things that makes Sam Roberts, Sam Roberts. So look, I'm here today because every time this comes up, I get a huge amount of feedback on it from people I'm assuming that are very much like you. Some people are confused by it. Some people are infuriated by it. And other people are dealing with the exact same thing and just get it. One of the main things that motivated me to do this show was when I tweeted out that at 36 years old, I had just eaten eggs for the very first time. And we talked about it on the radio.
Yeah. Start filming that stuff, dude. You did the eggs. Even film yourself making eggs and say it's the second time you're making eggs and this is the process you're going through. And then, there's a million things you've eaten steak once in your life. Have you eaten a hamburger?
No.
You've never eaten a hamburger.
So I guess there's some interest in my journey to eating eggs for the very first time. We'll save that journey for episode 2. In the meantime, make sure you leave a comment on this video letting me know what you want this series to chronicle. We could talk about what it's like going to business meetings with people that you're trying to impress and having to deal with this food thing. We could talk about dating people and how I've had to slowly introduce girlfriends to what this palate of mine really is. Do you want me to get a therapist on here to work with them and try to figure out what this is all about? And maybe after all this, you still blame my mom and just want me to have her on the show to explain what the hell happened. Let me know what foods you want to see me try. The fact that I'm addicted to fast food and I've never had a Big Mac in my life and have a psychological aversion to them, I get why that's fascinating. And look, you might be doing me a world of good. If there's anything you know about the last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts, it's that I may have an addiction to content. And if you tell me that there's a food that I should be eating that I am not eating, that if I try, it will create compelling content, I will try that food that I normally would not. And who knows, maybe together we can get past the hurdle of eating a plate of spaghetti. Make sure you hit like and make sure you hit the subscribe button here at the Notsam YouTube channel as we're pumping out content all the time. And stay tuned as I bring you on board this weird, and frustrating journey of mine. I'm Sam Roberts. This is Not Sam's Annoying Eater.